Let's talk about knives. I'm Jeff Starr.
And I'm Adrian Locke.
And this is Not Bad Films. Today, I'm reviewing this knife. This is the White River Small Game Knife, particularly for use as an EDC. I've owned and carried this knife for about just shy of 4 months now.
Wow, what a hero. Look at the big man with his whittle knife. He uses it to cut up apples.
Actually, yes, I have used this to cut up apples, and I will talk about that. Hello. I want to interrupt. It's actually 3 more months since I filmed that initial review. I hadn't gotten around to editing the video, and I've used the knife more since then, and there's a few points that I want to talk about. So please make sure to stay tuned for the end of the video to hear about why I ended up buying the Kydex sheath and the overall blade profile and its cutting edge. I think there's some important things there, so make sure to stay tuned for the end. You'll see some other knives here. This is just for scale. I purchased this version of the small game knife with this leather sheath from Duluth Trading. And you might know of them as sort of a clothing store, but they carry basic gear and they often have some incredible sales. And in fact, that's how I ended up owning this knife and this Firecraft Puukko made by White River. I got each of these for about 40% off.
Is this sponsored?
No, this video is not sponsored in any way. For this Firecraft Puukko here, really, I can't get it out of the Kydex. Hello. It's a little awkward with the camera here.
No, you're a weak old man.
Are you just going to harass me this entire time?
Yes.
Did you want to focus the camera?
I'm working on it.
So this is the Firecraft Puukko. I really like this knife. It's great Scandi grind. This fire steel notch at the top here, which hopefully you can see, works really great. Comes with the fire steel. Does have this bow divot.
Yeah, but you've never used that in your life.
No, that's true. I have not used the bow divot, but I like knowing that it's there. This is not like a cram it hole. This is just like a hook, a loop here. It is really convenient for hanging this on something, on a peg, or even just looping a carabiner through this. Now you'll notice I took the, what's the word I'm looking for?
Belt clip.
Yes, the belt clip off. So I really liked this, right? And I was just using it for camp stuff, some bushcraft kind of LARPing, pretending I'm cool and know what I'm doing.
And you don't.
But I wanted something that I could use for EDC use and something that I could drop in a pocket. So I removed the belt clip to try that. I'm an average sized gentleman.
Yeah, you're tiny.
So if I put this in, it sort of like sticks out. Now it has, I don't know, it looks a little like wrench-like or something. And in a front pocket, a little bit, it's out and it's a little big. So that's what led me to want to try this small game knife. I wasn't sure if I wanted Kydex or leather, and like I said, Duluth had it on sale in leather, so I got it in the leather. So if I put this in the pocket, you see it really disappears, right? And it often, if it angles, it's pretty much gone. You could put a little lanyard here to make it easier to grab, but it pretty much disappears. Even in the back pocket, it's pretty small. But the leather's a little bit slippery, and so if you're getting undressed at the end of the day and this is still in your pocket, it will probably tumble out of your pants. Oh no. And if you're not paying attention, that could not, could be ending up on the floor. And if you got little kids, it's not too much effort to obviously pull this out. Kydex would be really tough, as I showed earlier with my difficulty getting this out. The Kydex sheaths, I would say, by White River are excellent. There's no rattle. Tiny rattle. Maybe that's the fire steel rattling. Yeah, and it's certainly not coming out. I don't think any of either of my kids would be able to pull the knife out of this, right? If you try to wear the sheet on the belt, it rides high, and that's sort of to be expected. I mean, look at it. I mean, duh. I kind of wish that it was scout carry with maybe a little clasp or something to go just to secure it, but it's not. So whatever. The blade thickness was a little bit thicker than I was anticipating. In many ways, it's about as thick as it looks identical to the the Puukko. They seem about the same. This is obviously thicker all the way more to the tip, and this does taper. Because of that, this thing does break down boxes incredibly well. There's really nice control on the blade. It fits well. It was very sharp out of the box. Now I did resharpen this once to give it a little bit of a touch up, and otherwise I've just sort of stropped it, and it hones up really fast. There is sort of like a sharpening choil here. It's not very pronounced. I do find that sometimes that does, when I'm cutting, it will snag. Let's see, here we go. Very comfortable knife.
What about that apple?
Because this is a small game knife, I was expecting this to be a little bit better for some camp kitchen tasks. I won't say it's bad at that, but it's less, I don't know, it's not what I was expecting. It'll make a good slice, but sorry, and I don't want to thought to chew that on camera.
Because you're an idiot.
But it just wants to pry stuff apart. You'll see that a little bit here. Now, I mean, you can still get some decently thin slices. I'm not saying you can't. I found oddly it sort of struggles on tomatoes a little bit. Come on. It's not, I don't know why it doesn't want to cut a tomato. Once you're past the skin, obviously it's fine. This isn't as stabby, and when I first got it from the factory, the tip wasn't as pokey as I wanted. But I did give this a little bit of a resharpen after I had used it quite a bit. Just a touch up. And I did sort of get that tip a little bit more pronounced and a little crisper. And that's not a problem anymore. Well, maybe not that time. There we go. I wasn't sure if I was going to like carrying a fixed blade for EDC. But as of right now, I'm feeling very converted to that idea. I really just love how secure a fixed blade feels. It's comfortable in the pocket. The handle is really great. It's this micarta, which wears really nice. It grips really nice when it gets wet. So for kitchen tasks, it's worked really well. And I think it's getting kind of a cool patina from the way it's been in the pocket. You can see one side is more exposed than the other just because the way the leather sheath is. What I wanted was a good all-around fixed EDC that didn't look like a tactical war machine. So if I needed to pull out a knife to cut up a kid's sandwich, it wouldn't freak everyone out. I wanted to have a confident blade that I could use to break down that pile of Amazon boxes that always seems to be collecting. So I get those out for recycling so that I could deploy one-handed to quickly cut the rind off an orange or slice an apple or open a package. So the small game knife by White River really does all that for me. It's USA made, which I like. It's stainless, which is something I really like. I think it's priced very fairly. Hello. I want to talk about the sheath. Leather wasn't great because I had to really make sure the knife was always really dry. And over time, I was getting a lot of little leather, I don't know, bits, felty inside of the leather sort of rubbing off. It just took up a lot more space in my pocket than I wanted. I really love having this in the Kydex. It's way slimmer. Now I've taken White River's belt clip off. I don't like their belt clip. I think it is very bulky. I took it off the Puukko, as I said. I did try putting like a one of those little tactical straps, whatever, and put it so I could do like a horizontal carry on this. But you know what? I thought I would like that, and I hated it. So really, just super slim and thin like this, it just disappears in a pocket. It's so great. It's really easy to deploy, but it's also super secure. I love the click. I think we all do, right? Like, it's sort of dumb, but it makes it fun. It's a little bit more fidgety than the leather was. I was also finding that the knife was just not staying that sharp. Obviously saw the knife cut tomatoes and how it didn't. And I'd given it just a little light touch up on the whetstone, but I was really getting frustrated with how this was not cutting. I was trying to cut like some zip ties and it wasn't doing that like really well at all. I was finding it struggling to open like packages, like just little like everyday sort of uses that a standard pocket knife would be fine with. And obviously I wanted this to replace a standard pocket knife. So I got really annoyed, and I got all my whetstones, and I resharpened and basically sort of reprofiled the blade to get rid of that initial factory edge that, while sharp, was never like scary sharp like the Puukko was. Now this cuts great. It was after I did that, I got out some tomatoes again, and it was like just the edge of the knife immediately popping that tomato, and it was like you didn't even have to push any pressure or nothing. It just, boom, tomato was sliced. Paper, packages, plastic bags, any of that standard day-to-day EDC stuff, it's been fantastic at. It's really sharp now, and it's held that edge really well, as I would expect from S35 VN. So now that I've resharpened this, and it is scary sharp, and it has this new Kydex sheath, I really like this a lot. So would I suggest maybe buying it in the Kydex to begin with? Yes, I would. So if you see this from Duluth or another place in leather, and it's essentially the same price as the Kydex, buy the Kydex instead. If you get a really good discount on the leather, sure, you can do that and then buy the Kydex aftermarket, but at the end of the day, I probably spent the same amount I would have if I just bought it with the Kydex to begin with. This knife does now come in Magna Cut, which is pretty awesome. I don't have any experience with Magna Cut, but everyone says it's really awesome, so I'm guessing it must be, because the internet would never lie. Anyway, if you have this knife in S35 VN or Magna Cut and you've used it for EDC, leave a comment. If you've used it for actual small game hunting uses, I'd really like to know how it performs, because that's not my intended purpose for this. But let me know. Anyways, the White River small game knife with the Kydex sheath, strongly recommend. This has really killed my desire to buy other knives. I'm still looking at other knives. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, and I do have prints of my artwork for sale on Etsy, and there is a Patreon where you can get early access to these videos, other behind-the-scenes content on upcoming projects, and there's a fun space building out over there.
Thank you so much for watching.
Get off the internet and go make something.